Damien Fleming taking guard of Darryl Hare. Former teammates Al Mullally and Damien Fleming for Victoria. 3 slips a gully in. And there it goes again, a bit of movement off the seam.
Here's just another look at the dismissal. Michael Kasprowicz gets a good ball here. This is the place to bowl. Just come to the crease. That one pitched on, well, middle and leg. Just went across him. Faint little nick. You can see here, really has to play at those. And nicely taken. A really easy catch through to Stewart. And faint little nick. Just here and there. And no trouble at all.
That's a very good over from Alan Mullally. A double wicket maiden. Well, that shows a bit of character there from this young man. He's got the figures. He's got 4 for 77 off 30 overs. That's a very good performance. The first one, picked up 2 quick wickets and get rid of Healy now. Could be a quick finish, and Australia may not make that 450 they could have made at the luncheon break. Damien Fleming. And my senior commentator Richie Benoit has just told me it was Jeff Jones, the fast left armour. It's the over bowled, 7 for 366.
So that's the scene here. A few clouds beginning to drift over. So it's okay at the moment. Might get a little dull later on, but it wasn't long ago. In fact, it was last season on this day when the lights were used in a test match for the first time, and that happened in Perth. And those are pictures of that particular moment. Got a little bit dull, they switched the lights on and everyone was happy.
Fleming gets it away, attempted pull shot, sounded like a helmet. See what the call is. Leg by, so I think that was the helmet. Cork dropping it in short once again.
Yes, yeah, I'd like to see a replay of that to see what it did hit. Actually, it seemed to me to be a double noise. Let's see if we can see. Again, a good bouncer. Oh, hit him on the right on the badge. Whether it hit the glove before that, I don't know. So you can't ask for a straighter bouncer than that one, then, can you? Right on the Australian badge, was it? Let's have a look again. Yes. Dead straight. Different game these days.
Interesting, Fleming was going for the hook shot. He was prepared to go after it. He'll probably pitch up now around about off stump, try and entice him to drive with 3 slips and a gully in. That's the normal tactic for fast bowler. There it goes, and it's wide. There they go again. There's a big gap between second and third slip. And 4 more. And Tony Greig is bleeding.
Yeah, this is not good. This is going to be a painful business. They really have got to catch him. That was a pretty difficult one. It went to his right, but really, as it went in the air, one didn't really have all the confidence in the world. Just let's have another look at it. It's a good delivery. He just sparsed it a little bit. And it would have been a very good catch, mind you. And there he goes. In fact, he may not quite have got to it. I suppose we would all throw our arms up in the air. If you've dropped a few, those seem really bad.
Well bowled.
The other point, of course, is that he had to go a long way to his right, and the fieldsman on his right has left that big gap there. If he had been in an orthodox position, then it would have been a pretty straightforward catch. So this is the delivery again. Just watch how far he goes to his right. So there he goes, and the man on the left there It's Butcher. Hands goes to his face. Yeah, he wasn't very happy about it, as that one's played away on the onside. He said he'd been in an orthodox third slip position, he would have taken it easy. That's the end of the over. 7 for 377.
Pleasant conditions now. The sun's out. 377 on the board makes it more pleasant for Australia, but the ball's slipping between the slip fielders makes it a bit less pleasant for England. 7 for 377. 2 slips and, well, 3.5 is the other man. He's edging his way round a little towards second slip. Good afternoon, Ian.
Good afternoon, Richie. Yeah, it's a little frustrating sitting up here, and I think if England had just stuck with the orthodox slip fielders throughout this game, they might have been better rewarded. Mark Butcher did take catch to dismiss Michael Slater in that wide position, but there's been quite a few that have gone to the orthodox slip position. Frustrating.
No. I do think that man at third slip now, not sure if it's on orders, or he's just slipping himself a bit towards the other man, just edging away an inch at a time, just sort of filling the gap of his own volition. That man there, and he's just getting himself across that way a bit.
I think he's perhaps made the decision, Richie, that that's where he should be.
Very dangerous to do that sort of thing of your own volition. You might find yourself under the showers.
Well, he has an advantage. Alex Stewart is at keeping, so he can maybe just do it without him noticing. He's now starting to think about his batting. He hasn't been in great form so far on this trip. But he did play well at times against the South Africans last summer in England.
He can play. He's got a good temperament as well as plenty of skill. And he does allow the right-hand, left-hand combination at the top. He's already been cracked in the skull with a short pitcher over in Perth early in the tour. May not dent his confidence, might have dented his skull a bit, but I don't think it'll dent his confidence. You get over those things pretty quickly, and he does have plenty of skill. And down the third man, 7 for 378. Wickets down with Healy on 120. We were posing the question yesterday what would happen to the Australian tail, which to me for the first time in quite a time looks a bit long. Fleming will take 2 there. He's won the tail we're talking about. Generally they can be relied on for runs. Michael Kasprowicz has already gone for a duck, the only one in the list there. McGill and McGrath still to come.
McGill can hang around, I think, Richie, but I'm not so sure that Glenn McGrath will be thinking more about his bowling when he walks out there.
Well, his batting coach has already made 112 for Steve Waugh. Already got those on the board, and he's taken Glenn McGrath, the pigeon, under his wing.
I just hope he's not too much of it's rubbed off from an English point of view.
Stuart McGill, the second from the bottom in that Australian batting lineup, has only played a handful of test matches. He played against South Africa in Adelaide, then he went across to Pakistan, played in 3. And each time he's done something with the bat in different circumstances. One thing we know about tailenders is that they always fancy themselves with the bat. they'll be very keen to show that they're just as good as the ones who've gone before.
Yeah, there's been a good spell this from Dominic Cork, but I'd be inclined to get Darren Goff in for the attack. A little extra pace. Tailenders, one thing they don't particularly enjoy is that extra pace. I think Darren Goff is, you feel his luck has got to change. Lucky in this game.
Bowlers are always thinking out in the field there, particularly if they've got pushing up towards 400 against their collective names, and they're looking always for a batsman's weakness. Bit of a high flourish in the back left. Goff just passing on one or two little snippets there to his fellow bowler, and possibly his captain. One thing you'll find with tailenders is so keen are they on their own prospects that they always try to jack the strike off the recognised batsman.
Keep on playing shots like this, I don't think Ian Healy will mind. I think Ian Healy's doing it the right way, though. I don't think he's trying to farm the bowling, just let it happen. Pretty good wicket.
Stroke. 10 from that over, 7 for 388.
Ian Healy's the keeper, batsman, and Steve Waugh, is there a better middle order batsman, or has there been one?
Well, there've been a few around. It depends on the strength of the side. For example, Miller used to bat down the order. He batted at 3 for Australia sometimes. But the situations vary a bit. They're two very good players. You'd have Ian Healy lining up against Rodney Marsh, I would imagine, although there were other good wicket-keeper batsmen around, like Wally Grout, Don Talon. But I don't think you'd find any better ones than Rodney Marsh and Ian Healy. They've both got themselves over the 350 mark for dismissals as well. One thing we do know is that they're very useful. Coming in as they did yesterday afternoon and playing as they did. No. Business of playing as they did is probably the most important, because they just ripped into it straight away.
Well, quite often I think in those situations, quite often, not so much England perhaps yesterday, but when you're 4 or 5 wickets down, fields tend to be a little bit more attacking, a few more gaps in the outfield, and quite often if you're positive in those situations, maybe best form of defence can be attack. At the end of the day, I suppose it's just a bit an honour to be in the shake-up.
7 for 393. 7 for 393. Bowling figures for England. Best there, Mullally, 33 overs, 8 maidens, 4 for 84, and Ian Botham has his wish. Darren Goff is in the attack.
Great try, Darren Goff. Australian public will remember he burst on the scene over here and then unfortunately had that injury which curtailed his trip, but he's had a few problems with injuries, but he keeps fighting his way back. Great battler. Always seems to play with a smile on his face. And believe me, that's been quite an achievement over the last few years. He's Not have a great deal to smile about, but he keeps his tail up in captain's delight. Throw him the ball and he'll run in and give you everything he's got.
Pretty good stroke. The guy coming in. Well, we'll leave the third umpire there. It's a valiant effort to try to drag it back. But all we know is that the fieldsman himself has absolutely no idea.
I don't think he would have an idea. Dominic Corky threw himself at it. It's hard to see how... He's doing it the right way, though. He's sliding in. I think his hand has got in contact with the rope at some stage there. And I would think that you've got to give that as 4 runs, I think, Richie.
I'm not sure KT's going to do it, but I think he is. I think he's just holding up play for the moment while they have a look at this. The hand is just going to get the... Hello. And there's the horizontal arm just to alert the scorers. Third umpire is Peter Parker here at the Gabba. And that was a good shot. Inside edge, it sounded like. Unless he jagged his bat into his pad as well.
No, I think you called that exactly right, Richie. I think there's a big inside edge. It's well bowled. I think most tail enders would be thinking they might be going to get another short one, a little bit quicker. But that was up and almost reversed a little bit into him. I think there's a lot of inside edge here. Yeah, you can hear it, and it certainly saved him.
What are we now? 50-odd overs gone. So there'd be a bit of reverse swing. Hadn't been, well, there wasn't much with the first new ball, or so it seemed.
No, there wasn't. He's certainly got the shiny side out there for the outswinger. And there it goes. Reversing a little bit. And quite a big inside edge there. You can see the deflection. Turned off there. Gives it everything in the appeal.
A good shot. He's just managed to dig out that fierce Yorker. And he's got 3 runs for it. That's something yesterday afternoon England not only hoped they wouldn't see, but they didn't really expect to see it. Chances were Australia might have been out 225, 230.
There was a big chance of that. This is quite an amazing stroke. It's well bowled. It's reversed in again. Almost Yorker length. Not quite. Very well timed.
Over.
7 for 401.
Seniors card members, it's a fact.
7 for 401. It'll be Alan Mullally again. .23 for Damien Fleming. Still to come, Stuart McGill and Glenn McGrath. Pitch is playing well. No terrors there for the England batsmen. Only the length of time they've been in the field. High score of 24 so far for Damien Fleming. The average is all right for a number 9 or 10 or 11 occasionally. Made that higher score against England, Max Kruger tells me, down in Adelaide, 94-5, when Philip de Freitas made the runs that gave England the chance to bowl it and to bowl out Australia. Crucial match that on the last series, but not as crucial as the one before in Sydney, where England might well have won. And May and Warne batted for an hour in different light, when Atherton couldn't use his fast bowlers. Those cricket followers who saw that Sydney game either at the ground or on television might recall that there was a delayed declaration for a while to allow Graham Hicks to get his 100, and then he was 98 not out when Atherton, I won't say stormed out on the balcony, but he gave it quite a stern beckon, and then they just failed to bowl out Australia. 7 for 401.
That one was right off the middle.
And he enjoyed it. Look at the smile on the face. He's probably been wanting to do that for a long time. 7 for 409.
Well, it's another bright day here at the Gabba, and it's been a good day for Australia. Both Steve Waugh and Ian Healy passing the century mark. Darren Goff has given it everything today, but hasn't had any breaks at all. Alan Mullally has got the 2 wickets, but he copped a bit of a pasting that last delivery from Damien Fleming. He plays with a bit of flair. He gets the feet going everywhere when he whacks them. He played a pull shot. He's going again. Actually, it's interesting to watch that left leg. There's plenty of movement with that. He played the pull shot, and he sort of lifted the leg very much in the style of either a Keith Stackpole or a Gordon Greenidge, both of whom used to play the pull and just cock that left leg as they played the shot. Now he's got the left leg going with the cover drive off the back foot.
And enjoying it. He does show a little bit of flair when he plays. I know from times past he likes to put value on his wicket, but he likes to score runs quickly. There's a number of those inventive shots that can score some for him. Lovely photo.
Actually, it's probably just as well that his current Victorian captain is not here sitting in the box seeing this, because he'd probably be saying, where were all these shots when we only needed a couple of runs to win the Shield game against WA the other day?
I think he can claim homesickness. He'd only just flown straight in from Pakistan to Perth. He hadn't been home and had a change of clothes.
Safe, no one there. That's exactly how things have gone for Darren Goff, particularly today.
I suspect this one was a little slower too. Damien Fleming by surprise, mainly the pace of it was short enough. Expected to come quicker, and it just held a little as it hit the wicket.
Seven for 410. Because he always said they should have been shot at birth. If it was Trevor Chappell writing the column, he would have probably suggested the answer B, ban underarm bowling. I haven't got anybody for the protective clothing. Those are your three choices.
You keep speaking to me the way you are. I'm going to put in D, so it's Ian Chappell.
You suggesting you weren't around in 1913?
No.
Well, I'll be nice to you, Simon. If you get the answer right, you've got the opportunity to win the Ansett trivia competition. And if you select the right answer, dial the corresponding phone number. One caller with the correct answer each day will be selected at random. And there's a daily prize of 2 return economy airfares from the nearest capital city to a single destination on the Ansett Australian network. The winners can also or could also choose from one of Ansett's international destinations, which include Fiji, Hong Kong, Taipei, Osaka or Bali. Any of those take your fancy, Si?
Actually recently went to Osaka with Ansett. It was a wonderful trip.
It's 7 for 411.
Sunday night at the
Damien Fleming's been enjoying himself out there. That's been one of his more spectacular shots.
White.
Quite a tale there for the Australian side, starting after Ian Healy, Kasprowicz, Fleming, McGill and McGrath. Michael Kasprowicz sat for a long period of time while Healy and Steve Waugh resurrected the Australian innings. He set it on the way and went out cheaply, but Fleming's doing a great job. Caribbean style, I might add. Scored 28. It's his highest test score. And he's doing it in an unorthodox fashion at times. But it's been effective. That's what you want to see from the latter order in these games. Some support for a batsman that's in. Ian Healy is. He missed that by 1.5 yards. He's a little slow on taking the bait to play the hook. Here it is. It was way past him before he even got the bat anywhere near it.
Alex Stewart just letting the bowler know that the second man is back now. I think there's a good reason why Alex Stewart was letting the bowler know, so that the batsman would hear it. And they've gone for the reverse psychology, jam it in the block hole. Actually, I'm impressed with the way that Damien Fleming has gone about it, because if a tail ender is going to spend a bit of time out there, and there is a cause for him in this situation to play steadily with Ian Healy up the other end. But in general, you want the tail ender going for the runs, not just wasting time. It's 7 for 412. And this partnership came together when it was 7 for 365. It remains 7 for 412. Australia in a position of dominance now, thanks to Steve Waugh and Ian Healy.
The good thing about this partnership and Damien Fleming giving support to Ian Healy is exactly what we have seen just then. Ian Healy can be confident of just pushing a single, not having to look after his tail end partner, hide him away from any of the bowling. See here, he just guides the ball down, gets his single, knows that Damien Fleming at the other end can handle himself. He's doing an excellent job, is in fine form and touch. Already scored 28.
Immaculate in defence.
He's the one bowler of the whole England lineup so far in this match that just hasn't had that extra zip. Gus Fraser possibly a half-yard less in pace than
the hook shot, and he's been given plenty of opportunities to play it.
Good bounce of this. Straight. That's the most important thing. Straight over his melon. Yes, it was high. If he was going to have a crack at it, and every opportunity that the ball was going to fly down to the deep fine leg or the deep backward square, that's the trap that was set.
Falls safely. That's 7 for 415. And Max Kruger tells me quite an interesting stat. He's made 4 Test hundreds now, and including this one, he hasn't been dismissed yet once he's passed the century mark. Oh, he's taking on the spinners as well as the quickies. That's very well hit. 7 for 420. Pick Bill Lawry or Tony Greig?
Very kind, Ian. Thank you very much. It's 8 for 421 at the Gabba. Croft continues. A little bit of turn and bounce. Good afternoon, Tony Greig.
Afternoon, Bill. Yes, this has been interesting, hasn't it, I suppose?
Well, it's only the first test, Tony. The second day. It's been great entertainment, I'm sure, for our viewers at home and around the world, and certainly for the fans here at the Gabba. Some excellent straight play from Steve Waugh and Ian Hill. It was a wonderful partnership. Gritty stuff, and that's what Test cricket's all about. Get yourself into trouble, fight your way out if you can. And Fleming's done a great job as well. Good entertainment from Fleming. He's on 33. And for our racing fans around Australia, we'll be shortly going to Sandown for race 5, the Eclipse Stakes. 2 races today from Sandown on Wide World of Sports. Croft's been okay. He's thrown it up. He hasn't got a lot of turn, so he's been steady.
Yes, that's what he is. I think he's a pretty steady bowler. He's almost bowled 20 overs now, no wicket for 41, so he hasn't conceded too many runs, but he hasn't really looked all that penetrating either.
As well, Mark Ramprakash can bowl off spin. Doesn't bowl a lot, but according to my spies in England, he's very handy. Maybe he needs to bowl a bit more, even in combination for a while with Croft to get spin at both ends. It's 8 for 421. Happy crowd at the Gabba. Local hero Ian Healy, 134. Stephen Moore, 112. The main run getters for the Australians. Damien Fleming doing a good job. He'll probably take on Angus Fraser here with McGill at the other end. Just the two slips in. Takes the single. Alex Stewart is making a change. As Tony Gregg pointed out, it's time for a bit of fire. It's going to be Mullally with 4 wickets against his name, 4 for 88. Got a big chance here of picking up his 5th wicket. Well deserved if he gets it as well.
Yes, well, there's no doubt this is the right thing to do, and I hope he does too, because he's bowled pretty well. He's come steaming in and he's let it go. He's bowled a good line. Now, if he keeps that ball in the right place, just the odd short one, and then just on that off stump and going across the right-handers, and he's got a chance.
Australians have had 192 runs today. That's some good time. Plenty of boundaries, some good positive batting. And well, he's picked up 2 wickets. He's been by far the best of the bowlers. I thought Cork bowled a good spell just after the luncheon break as well, but those figures are pretty fair indication of the form, apart from Goff, who's had 2 chances put down last night.
Interesting field. They got one back at square leg for the hook shot, and they've got a fine leg as well. Yes, and 2 now in a row past the outside edge. And just for those of you waiting for the dividends from the Sandown Race 5, there they are. Prime address. Paid $24.70 and $7.10. And number 8 and number 7 in the places.
Gone for it. He's pulled him straight. Just clears Angus Fraser at mid-on. Becoming very flamboyant in style of cocking the leg up. He's given it a good whack. And doing a very good job. That should fire up Mullally. One tail end is hitting it back over mid-on. There he is, just a fraction short. Whacks it over Angus Fraser's head.
Yes, I think that could have gone anywhere. He wants to just keep his cool, keep it up there just on that off stump, perhaps, and for the outside edge.
Inside edge was beautiful delivery. Mullally didn't really go up. A little bit frustrated. Did that once or twice to Stephen Moore as well. Got to duck back, get the edge.
Yes, no doubt about that. Big edge onto the bat and then onto the back bag. It's 4 deliveries bowled now, and he's beaten the bat twice. Little inside edge onto the pad, that last one, and he's had one hit over the top of mid-on, so it's been action every ball. So that's 3 times he's gone past the outside edge.
Sal Mullally just needs to keep his cool here. He's showing 1 or 2 signs of frustration, but he's bowling beautifully. It's the place to bowl, maybe just a fraction wide there, but some movement away. The angles there for him. It's a tail ender who have a bit of a dash at it. He hasn't been too short. He's been the best of the length bowlers for England. He's tried to keep it up. He's swung it back in occasionally. 8 for 440.
Good performance and an important performance for Mullally. Having made his improvements at county level, he needed to convince himself that he could do it at the highest level. 5 wickets in the first Test match should be convincing enough. Damien Fleming has made a half-century at first-class level, never at Test level. So he'll be urging Glenn McGrath to hang around for a bit. Strengthening of the slip cordon with Glenn McGrath on strike. That's well bowled. Good over from Alan Mullally. 9 for 447. Massed this sort of total. The onus is now on England to bat well. Damien Fleming, he is on fire. That is a magnificent shot. Those are 2.
Stroke of, well, reminds me just a little bit of Greg Blewett, and also that he only just missed his stumps by a whisker.
That really is rubbing in. Darren Goff has bowled, he's probably been the best of the England bowlers, and he hasn't had any luck at all. Now he's got a tail ender or lower order batsman smashing him all over the park. There is no justice.
He needs to keep it straight to Damien Fleming. If he gives him any width at all, then he's going to find himself in the same situation as he might be towards the end of a limited overs game, where everyone's throwing the bat.
Well, that's a very good shot again, but it'll be cut off by Ramprakash. So I think Damien Fleming's decided that if he's going to get a Test 50, this is his best chance, and he better do it quickly.
Doesn't show much faith in Glenn McGrath's batting coach, who's already made 112 today.
I must say, it's mostly been sensible batting from Damien Fleming. He's played that magnificent ball shot at the start of this over, but a lot of his shots have been perhaps a little on the flamboyant side, but he's hit them either over or through the covers and hit them pretty well. And basically done it with a straight bat. Seven fours for Damien Fleming. There, some of the flamboyant ones there through the covers off the back foot with the left leg really flying. But that's the star job, that one. And there's 50 for Damien Fleming. Well done. His first one in Test cricket.
certainly favours the up-off 1-foot shot. Looks very elegant, and he has played extremely well. All right, I wondered earlier, Ian, how the tail enders would go, because it didn't look as strong as it had been. They've done very well. Kasprovic made naught, Fleming's 50, McGill got 20, and England, all they've got is a touch of the despondencies. Call of your running partner.
I tell you what, I wouldn't like to get smacked on the side of the watermelon and have it all running down my face. I don't think that'd be all that pleasant, Bernard.
Well, there are a lot of odd things happening in the crowd today. Some people wearing watermelons, some people wearing no watermelons.
Right.
51 to Damien Fleming, his first Test half-century. Australia 9 for 460 here at the Gabba in the first Test of the Ashes series.
No.
You won't find a better Test match to exhibit the strange nature of cricket that yesterday the Australians were struggling at this time just after tea on the first day. Tea taken at 4 for 141, and now suddenly, just a day later, 9 for 460, and the bowlers are thinking about what they're going to do out on that pitch, and the opening batsmen are thinking about what might be done to them. Healy just practicing sort of catching he might get out there. Healy's just waving to that lady who was waving to the dressing room a few moments ago.
Oh, nicely guided. Played very sensibly, Damien Fleming. And that's his 8th boundary. We saw Damien Fleming sitting in the dressing room area reading a book earlier in the day. May well have been a book on batting. If it is a book on batting, there'll be a lot of young blokes rushing out there to buy it.
Every so often, Alamal Ali quite deliberately and strongly rolls his fingers over the top of the ball. And he got a bit of movement with that one. It went away from the right-hander. The normal push-away ball of the left arm over the wicket bowler. It is very important to have some sort of variation in the attack, apart from just pace and spin. You might have a fast bowler and a couple of medium pacers, but if you can have a left armour in the side as well, bowling pace, then it is very, very good, providing he can bowl, that is. And Malali's given a good exhibition here.
It's 9 for 465. And there's 50 for Damien Fleming. Well done, his first one in Test cricket. Well, that was Damien Fleming bringing up his half-century just a short while ago. His best shot in the 50 was a magnificent pull shot. One of 7 fours in his 50. Ian Healy top scoring with 134. Steve Waugh, the other century maker, at 112. And now Damien Fleming with a very attractive 57. That one goes to about the 4th slip position. Alex Stewart just can't win.
I think in the cool of the night, the England hierarchy, and they settle down to work out precisely how they should have bowled at different batsmen, might pursue the line with Fleming that they would concentrate more on the slips area. And Glenn McGrath has plenty of support in the centre of the second row.
4 more. That's a good shot. He loves to play the pull and the hook, and he plays them pretty well for the tail ender.
He's hardly ever attempted to hit the ball really hard out there. He's been all timing and placement and elegant stuff as well.
Damien Fleming's highest score in first-class cricket. 63 not out against Sri Lanka, so he's now getting close to that. Sure, he would love to have his highest score actually in a test match. And he'll be able to play a bit of backyard cricket with all the equipment. $1,000 worth of cricket gear to go with the $500 for Tim the Chicken Rathbone. This would now be getting very, very frustrating for Alex Stewart. And from most of the Englishmen, one of their problems will be to put out of their mind any thoughts of how good it could have been if they'd run Steve Waugh out, and then if they'd caught Steve Waugh and caught Ian Healy. They start letting that get in their mind, and then it could affect the way they bat. Because if they had done everything right, it could have been a very good first day for England. Now they've got a battle on their hands to save the match. Good shot. John McGrath making full use of his height there and coming forward.
And watching this back in the living rooms, it may look as though there's not much out there for the bowlers, and the batsmen are in extreme comfort. The runs are coming. 31 in this last wicket partnership. It'll be a bit different when the Australian bowlers with the new ball get at it. The 74 overs gone with this ball. It's soft, No movement in it off the seam. But it'll be a different proposition when the England openers get out there. Shiny ball, a lot of bounce, movement in the air. And that's one of the problems they face. They would have played together, Fleming and Mullally, when Mullally was a Victorian.
Do you actually stop being a Victorian, Rich? He's hit that well. Another boundary. Highest score in first-class cricket for Damien Fleming. Australia 9 for 480. Damien Fleming 66. And Glenn McGrath is on 5. And a bit of good fortune for him there. That ball coming off the shoulder of the bat and just lobbing up between about 3 fielders. Dominic Cork wasn't all that excited about it. In the commentary position now, it'll be Bill Laurie, and with him, Ian Botham.
Thank you, Ian. Good afternoon, all. And tails wagging a long time. Very good performance by Damien Fleming. Now it's the off-spinner Robert Croft coming into the attack. Field well spread. Long off, mid-wicket, deep backward square leg. Fleming goes, but doesn't clear mid-on. And good afternoon, Ian.
Bill, thank you. Yeah, it's a little frustrating for the England supporters. Damien Fleming has played out of his skin. He's come out, he's enjoyed himself, he's played his shots, taken the game to the England bowlers and been very successful. The crowd have loved it.
Highest first-class score, but it's been more than that. It's been the way he's played. He's hit the ball beautifully on the onside. One magnificent pull shot, some wafted shots over cover. He's enjoyed it. He's always enjoys his cricket. He's always got a smile on his face. Very competitive, happy, relaxed man.
Cut!
He's gone for it. He finds the gap again.
The runs just keep coming. Doesn't matter who's bowling. It's a good shot, actually. He's placed that there. He hasn't tried to just hit it. He's had a look at the field and picked the gap pretty well. Which I think Robert Cross actually bowled quite well. He's been prepared to give it a bit of air and said to the batsman, OK. Not a lot of assistance there turning. When you look at Damien Fleming's wagon wheel, it's strokes everywhere.
Nothing boundaries. Uses his feet. He punches us down to long on to Atherton for a single. This is what Test cricket's all about. It's not like the one-day internationals where you can get it over in 50 overs. You have to battle it out. And the Australians, through Healy and Stephen Moore, put enormous pressure on England. Such a good batting pitch on the second day. England will be saying to themselves, we should have been batting around about lunchtime. It hasn't happened, and now they're paying the penalty for drop catches. And superb effort by Fleming, because he's entertained this good crowd with some glorious strokes on both sides of the pitch. McGrath goes. It's in the air. This will be out. Atherton's under this. This will be the end. Yes, he catches it. A wicket for Croft. All out for 485. Australia, wonderful effort. They were 4 for 106. Good team performance. Atherton running off the opener. Keen to get the pads on. Good batting pitch though, Ian.
Yeah, and I think it's very important now that England come out with the right attitude. Glenn McGrath going for the big hit, toe ending it. Mike Atherton design it, stumbles a little bit, but hung on to it. And Robert Croft will be a very happy man. He's had a long time to wait for a wicket in international cricket. Mike Atherton takes the catch and gets off the field as quick as he can. He'll be putting the pads on. And it really is important now, Bill. I think that England have got to score and score well in this first innings. In fact, the whole series could rest on it from England's point of view.
Well, as far as confidence is concerned, I'm sure it will be, as Damien Fleming gets a tremendous ovation, not out 71. That's a tremendous innings. McGrath, the man out. But yes, you're right. They won't get better conditions. It's always tough, though, if you're in the top order in your field for 2 days almost, when you know that you should have been in maybe early.